Hello, welcome to the Engineer's Box. Now today I've got something fairly interesting. What I've been working on is the electric furnace from IC2. So I thought I might give you guys a bit of a rundown of what I've got so far. Currently I only have one recipe, but a little bit of an overview of all of the commands, the functionality of it, and just a little bit of an explanation and see how I'm going with it so far. Alrighty, so let's jump right into it. So let's grab out the electric furnace. Here, let's grab some of these batteries and some of the copper dust. So this is orientable, so which way you place it is determined by which way you're facing. Much like the macerator that I showed before, so that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to place it this way, because why not? So if we head in here, you can see that I used the regular furnace here. I haven't actually added a separate GUI that I'll overlay over the top of it yet, which that'll be something I do in the future. But anyway, for now it's fine. So we stick a battery in the bottom. You can see now it's charged with 10 uses. Remember, that's the standard. That's what I'm using for batteries, 10 uses. So if we stick in one of these copper dust, you can see that it's smelting fairly fast, as you'd expect. And boom, get ourselves a copper ingot. So that's pretty cool. So that works all nice and well. And if we can see, if we go to the scoreboard objectives and we set the display trade detect 2, you can see that that's what it uses. So you can see that I've got another 9 smelts left before I run out of charge, which is pretty cool. But also, if I destroy this, it works as much the same as macerator, is that it resets it entirely, which is pretty cool. So if we go and have a look at the commands now, actually I'll just get rid of these. What I've got is pretty much this line here is just detecting the fact that I've got it in my inventory. Sorry. The second one is just detecting directional displays and things like that, so which way you're facing and so forth. This third one is basically just summoning in... Oh, actually, it's executing on the item that you drop on the ground and then setting a furnace down right where that is, which is oriented towards which way the person's facing, which is pretty cool. And then afterwards, what we're doing is just creating a scoreboard objective with the fact that it's dropped, and then summoning a leash knot on top of the furnace, and then from there we just summon in an armor stand with the overlay to sit on top of the furnace, so that you've got a different texture, which is pretty cool. And then just getting rid of the leash knot and getting rid of the item and resetting the dropped tag. So that's pretty much it for the orienting and placing of the furnace. It's really simple. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. The great thing about the electric furnace is it's a lot easier to deal with than the macerator, because this has a lot more functionality in dealing with animation, which it didn't have to beforehand. Now within this one, I don't have to deal with animation, but the macerator I do, because there's a custom texture. The GUI is completely different, so that's a little bit interesting. Now, something to note, the difference between these, some of the things that's going to be happening is that I won't necessarily be able to have a GUI where you can place in upgrades. So in the case of this electric furnace, it's going to be, you have to drop upgrades on it at the moment, at this point in time, because I just can't change the GUI enough to be able to incorporate completely new sections into it. So that's a little bit of an oversight, but there's not much I can do about that at the moment. But when I can, I will get that fixed as soon as possible. But the macerator will still work as normal, where you put the upgrades in and it works, which is all fine and dandy. So what we've got here is the recipe for it. So this is the copper dust ingot. This first one just detecting the fact that you've actually powered the furnace, and then the second one is just looking for testing for the furnace that actually has the items, which is clay ball, which is renamed to be the copper dust. And this way I actually chose clay ball for a reason, because it has you can smelt it and you can use it as an item, which is great, which means all of these dusts and everything will be used as clay balls, because then I don't have to go through and do the animation, which is just perfect. It's a pity I couldn't do that for the electric furnace, for the macerator, my bad. And then what we're doing is just summoning in a fuel item, in this case a bowl, because it has the exact burn time for 100 ticks, or instead of 20 seconds, 10 seconds in this case, because that's what the electric furnace, the burn time is for it. And then basically after that's done, you're testing for the furnace to actually have a brick So when it's smelted, and then you're just replacing the brick with a copper ingot, and then resetting the trade detect score. So it's actually really simple and really easy to use. I'm trying to keep these as simple as possible, just to kind of limit the amount of intensity that it has on people's computers and so forth. So down here we've just got, these use the exact same formations as the macerator in terms of detecting whether there's a battery or whatnot. So you're just looking for the fact that there is a furnace there, pretty much just testing for the fact that there is an RE battery, then adding that objective, removing 10 from it to give you the 10 availability and the 10 smelts, and then just replacing the RE battery with an empty one. The destroy is pretty much the same, so when you destroy it, it'll give you the item back, and it will destroy any other items that it drops, except for anything that was in the inventory slots, which is pretty cool. The no charge, removing objectives, that's really simple. Just detecting the fact that that charge, trade detect 2 is what I've called it, has a score of 0, and then it just removes it. And up here, this is just changing the smelting speed. So we're detecting a furnace, and then changing the block data to have cook time total 100. Now, if you don't know about that, changing the smelting speed, then you actually have a look at my recent video, and then I'll stick a little thing up on the screen here so you can click that and go to that video. It actually goes over a couple of MBT tags and things that I use in this mod pack, which should be cool. But yeah, so it was just a short one today. I'll probably do a more in-depth overview when it's completely finished, when I have tons of recipes and a lot more functionality and hopefully the GUI done. But for the moment, I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the nearest of futures.